It is officially, yeah, people. Super Rugby is back, or at least a version of it. It's going to be a little bit less of this and a lot more of this happening. And I've brought in some guests to chat with me. As Good for the Game brings you some rugby chat. One of my regular guests, all the way from just down the road in Cape Town, Sean, Judge Rugby. Listen, first question out the blocks, mate. Just tell us, how many times have you watched the 32-12 game during lockdown?
Plenty, mate. No. Truth is, I've actually I only watched it once, and it was also only the second time I ever watched it. Watched it after the final. It's been quite an interesting one, but cracking. Still find myself shouting at the TV, and game seemed a lot closer. A lot later in the game than what I remember it being. But yeah, lockdown's been interesting.
It has indeed. I mean, I don't know. I've got two New Zealand guests on here that I'll introduce now, but we've been in total lockdown for quite a bit and just starting to release into lesser levels. But I mean, we're not even into contact sport training yet, let alone unleashing the real deal. So obviously, that's why we decided to chat to some New Zealanders here, because they are on the doorstep, 48 hours or so away from kickoff. And I tell you what, there's been talk about the South Africans skipping Super Rugby or leaving and all other kinds of things. But I'm telling you, there's no lack of interest for this weekend. All eyes on you guys. It's the excitement. Excitement is huge this side. Paul from Driving Mall, welcome to the show. And just from your side, how do you feel the build up is there? Is there as much excitement or more excitement that side of the pond than we've got here?
Oh, it's massive over here. Everyone's getting excited for it. And we're lucky we're back down to level 1, which basically means we have a normal life, except they've closed our borders. So you can't come over here, folks. Stay away. But apart from that, we're all good here. We can go to restaurants. We can do all sorts of stuff. Even get haircuts. But I've not done that yet. I need a haircut. But no, look, the excitement's massive for this. It's just going to be interesting to see how well we can sustain it. But week 1. Yeah, we are talking. Yeah, everybody wants to get a ticket. It's looking really positive.
Steve, welcome to the show, Cornflake. Same question to Paul. How have you felt the build up there? Is everyone excited? Everyone good to go? And can you feel it in the air there?
It's a weird world, isn't it? When you can sit here and say, we can go to a restaurant, we can go get our hair cut. Isn't that strange? Isn't that such a weird thing to be able to say? But yeah, no, it's huge hype here. It's pretty massive. You can tell by the ticket sales, they're just flying out to each and every person seems that within the region. And why not? Why wouldn't you want to go there to have this packed crowd, people everywhere? It's going to be an amazing atmosphere. And the whole world's going to be watching too, so it's brilliant. It's great to lead that charge, I guess. And well, you got to give credit to the old country for sticking by it and getting on with life. And it's great to be able to say that. Really, I guess I feel for you guys over there still in lockdown, because it kind of sucks. It's cool to be at home and you get a bit of stuff done, but really back to real life and get on with things.
But you got come on. It's everyone's sort of jumping in, trying to get these. But what I think has been really kind of cool is the media have actually been positive about rugby for a change. They've not been bashing rugby. All the news stories are kind of positive. It's not kind of like, oh, it won't be a real competition because no one else is involved. Which is the route they could have taken. But thankfully, no. It's all something like, oh, there's no finals, so it's not really Super Rugby. It's like, oh, guys, just come on, please be positive. And it's been good. Yeah, the media, for a change, have actually been positive about sport, which is cool.
Wait till Sunday.
Well, in fairness, Paul, it's a little bit different though. If they launched in Australia, then maybe people would have said, well, it's not really a real competition. Now it's in any case just like skipping to the finals. All the New Zealand teams against each other. So not much of a difference. Yeah, listen, guys. Going on to the next one, they've made a few little changes there, a few little tweaks. Some of them, I know, Brian, maybe just common sense, and some of them to try and up the game and try and make it so. They're almost trying to use this opportunity where there isn't a heck of a lot else going on to try and capture the imagination, I think, of some new viewers. And, we've got the red card rule now where you can replace a player after 20 minutes. They've obviously got the NRL kind of rule of the golden point in extra time if it's all tied up. But then more importantly, I actually think the strangest thing about it is not the new rules, but just the emphasis that's been put out there, where they say it's going to be strong on the offside rule, strong on tacklers rolling away, and I think scrum off having to use the ball quicker. So it's all about upping the tempo and trying to produce something that's going to be a bit more running rugby orientated. So maybe Steve, just to kick us off there, how do you see this as good changes, and do you see it as having a positive impact for the tournament?
Well, it's pleasing changes for the people that are looking at this sort of thing, and that would be critical of this sort of thing. Because now they'll look at it and say, maybe they're listening to all us that are complaining about this and that and the next thing, and they're actually trying to do something about it. Will it have a massive effect? I mean, we'll see. A lot of that stuff is going to be hard to look at and say it's really been a massive, massive difference. But the two rule changes, I'm not sold on Golden Point, but I think I can kind of take a bit of a victory in the yellow red card complainer category that I seem to be quite well. Ruining games. I mean, we're not going to get those ruined games anymore. We're going to have that almost full-on 15-on-15 sort of capacity again. It's a tough one, isn't it? Because the players, obviously, to get a red card have done something pretty drastically bad. It can affect the team that obviously concedes that, or the team that obviously gets hammered with that, the player going off injured or whatever, something like that. They can't obviously get a bit of a reprieve at all. Their players done if they go off, but it does make the game a bit more competitive. So I can kind of see where that's coming from and do kind of like that idea. But the Golden Point, it hasn't been a success in the NRL. A lot of people do complain quite harshly on that one. So yeah, we'll see about the rest of those little sub-note ones and see if they actually do stick to that, or whether it's just a bit of a early start of this new season crowd pleaser for the fans and the critics out there to say, yes, this is what we've been complaining about for so long.
Paul, from your side?
Doesn't it just tell you that the basic rugby has got too many laws and it's too complicated when they say, you know what, the big change to this new tournament is we're going to enforce the offside line. Like last year, we're going to enforce, or a couple of years ago, we'll enforce straight put-ins at the scrum. Guys, come on. Stop tinkering with the rules, stop changing them all the time, just simplify them so that the referee can actually referee them. Would be nice. So yeah, it's just more fiddling at the edges, to be honest with you. Look, at the end of the day, do people watch rugby, or do people get involved, get emotionally attached to sport because of the rules that you're running, or because the engagement with their team? And it's about the engagement with their team. They're just tinkering with the edges when you're talking about messing around with the rules. Obviously, making it a more energetic, a more vibrant game, that's all kind of cool. But at the end of the day, it's all about emotional involvement and about, it's your team that's going to make people come back and make people watch, not messing around with a couple of rules. I'm not a fan of the two new rules, but hey, whatever.
Sean, I know you probably have a input on this. I know you quite have some suggestions for laws and that kind of thing yourself. Do you think this is just something that they should be doing in any case in terms of being strict on certain rules? And do you think it's actually going to maybe even lead to more penalties in the first few rounds of tacklers rolling away and that kind of thing, and offside, or positive?
Yeah, listen, I think there's two sides to the coin, but it'll definitely be, when referees focus on one thing, there's always an issue, because they're focusing on something that everyone has been trying to beat the whole time. Then they need to readjust themselves as players, but then they'll find other aspects in the game where they can manipulate space or do something. For me, this whole we're going to enforce straight feet and look after that, those aren't law tinkering. That's just inadequacy by the referees and officials by not managing it in the first place. Like the whole point of a scrum is actually meant to be a fair contest. The whole point of a line out is meant to be a fair contest. Stuff like that. So manage the offside line properly, and we'll have better rugby. Full stop. Like, it shouldn't be a law change. So that's the thing that frustrates me. I think in terms of how rugby is always evolving is perhaps a good thing. Like, we're always looking to change and try and move with the times and everything. But the bad side of that is we've created such a clusterfuck, of laws and rules and everything, where we don't really know what's going on all the time, and then we get shady red cards, or we get red cards that are iffy and butty. So, firstly, the golden rule, the golden point, or sudden death, or whatever, I don't have a major problem with it. We've had 5 draws in Super Rugby in the last 3 seasons. I think one was a called off game, so it might have been 4 or 5. What sucks is a team that is really up against the ropes have managed to fight out and get points out of the game, and then they maybe go and lose it. That's the downside of it. The bonus is we get a win, and in the States, almost all the sports in the States there's no draw there ever. They don't allow that, and that's just the way that they play. So I can't really comment about NRL. I haven't really watched too much except for the last couple of weeks. With regards to the red card, I'm so against it. For me, like this whole sport game and whatever, like if you make a mistake and you it's a red card offense, then you're off. Those are the rules. Like if we start compromising on people foul playing and everything, then the game's gonna drop off. Like I'm a firm believer in if you have made a mistake or if you've the foul play, or whatever the case may be. It's like when someone throws a punch and doesn't hit someone, they give him a yellow card, or they don't, or they penalize him. He's thrown a punch. Like, that's like, how does it work? So, conversely, like I said, there are so many law changes and variations that there's so much gray area that we guys getting red carded, and we're like, that's kind of a harsh red card. So I think that's where that comes from. But if there's a guy eye gouging in the bottom of the ruck and he gets to come on 20 minutes later, I mean, what? Are you joking with me? Like, that's the issue. But I know that it's going to be a red. So World Rugby and Super Rugby have brought out 2 different things. Is the Super Rugby going to be where they are evaluating it while he's off and then they can make it a straight red, or is it only he always comes back after 20?
I think he has to be replaced, but
he
has to be replaced with a different player.
Okay. Sorry, I got my 2 mixed up because World Rugby also sent out some that they were umming and ahhing about, some suggestions. But yeah, so I don't know. We'll see 15 on 15, but a team's not getting. What happens if someone goes in and absolutely panels Damian McKenzie, and McKenzie's off the field? And they lose their best player, and then the other team gets to play with 15 after 20 minutes. It's.
But Sean, just remember, there's no South African team there to take out anyone. So I mean, it's going to be all clean fun.
Okay, guys, let's on to the selections already, because this explains why this guy Sam Gilbert, who we've never heard of before, has been picked on the wing for the Highlanders. He is there to kill Damian McKenzie, right? That's the job. And he's going to get taken off. And then 20 minutes later, where they're going to have Vilamoni Karoi on, and they're back up to 15. You've nailed it. Oh, look, this is Highlanders are out to kill Damian McKenzie. Sam Gilbert's, that's his role. Because I'll tell you, he's a nobody. I don't know how he's got selected. But you've spotted it. Jeez, this is the papers on Sunday.
Tony Brown, Aaron Major, thinkers, absolute thinkers.
Listen, Tony Brown's not popular in our country anymore after what he said.
No, Tony Brown is not big this side, guys. Listen, as someone who flew up and did a heck of a lot of arrangements to go watch that Super Rugby final where Kwagga Smith got a red card in the first, 10 minutes, and the game was buggered from there. I'm all for this red card rule. So I must say on that side, I'm going to err to the other side, and especially early in the season, it's you're still going to get punished harshly, afterwards. So it's not that bigger deal. And 20 minutes to play with other guys is still in effect. Judge, something else there.
So you guys are a gambling site, right? A gambling channel. Go find out the odds for Sam Gilbert getting a red card. I tell you, there's some smart money.
Okay. So my thing is because of this red card situation, will that mean that the referees are happy to hand out red cards a little bit more now when on a questionable call, where previously they went through a 3-minute process that we all moaned about? Or are they going to be handing out a lot more yellow cards because 2 yellows is a red, but then only 10 minutes after the initial yellow card problem, they'll be back to 15. So it kind of doesn't really matter. You know, their mistake's only a 20-minute mistake or a 10 minutes mistake as apparently a whole game, as opposed to a whole game mistake.
But I mean, Sean, that's like always the question with these new kind of rules. I mean, it's the same as you know, reviewing a try. It's almost like in your subconscious still, there's been a bit of a change where let the game flow and first score the try and then come back and reassess, because that function is there. Where if you blew it up, it's gone. You know, you can't do the alternative. So it's going to be the same thing. You know, if you know that there's a change, it almost inevitably means it's getting judged a little bit differently. So yeah, that's something to see. But you know, for me, a little bit more about the new rules is just, you know, it's supposed to be more free flowing, but at the start now you've got a tackler having to roll away and you've got offside being more stringent. So surely it's actually going to be a few more penalties and more stop-start at the start rather than this beautiful flowing game that they want to create. But either way, I'm all for that offside. I mean, that's been a problem for a heck of a long time, especially at Drucks. I mean, everyone just creeps up and there's not enough space for the back line to really, you know, do a proper job. So that is going to be exciting and that's going to be good to watch. Then guys, I think I'll start with the New Zealanders on this. Maybe Steve, I'd start you off. I know it's not your team, but everyone, I don't know, this side, it's almost like the cheetahs for South Africans. The Blues have got like a little bit of a soft spot this side. They play this attacking brand. When it comes off, it's beautiful, it's fantastic, but geez, they can struggle on their worst day. So it's the big question every season is this the Blues season? Have they changed? Has the ship changed course? I know they probably can't win the thing, but let's just say, are they still building further? Is there still going to be another year of improvement and going ahead further with McDonald as the coach?
Geez, well, Paul's seething at the bit here. He's not getting to go on this one for us, but this is, as the New Zealander, Auckland is always the team in the country that's always having that this is their year. I mean, the NRL, for those of you who have watched any of it as the only sport going around, it's always the Warriors' year, and yet they always finish 2 or 3 from the bottom. The Blues are pretty much the same. It's the same old thing with the Blues, but let's be completely honest. Let's be completely fair about the Blues. As much as I would love to put the boot into the Blues, this well and truly could be a year that they actually do start to stand up. We've already seen from them at the start of Super Rugby regular before COVID that they were actually a team that was starting to come on a little bit better than I think anyone, even Blues fans, probably expected them to be. So they're definitely stepping up a gear. Of course, they got the new additions. Beauden Barrett, of course, we know about that. But, you know, the secret one that's kind of almost blown Beauden out of the water is, of course, the addition of Dan Carter coming in. So, I mean, you've got this little 3 massive factors going into this game. But for the Blues, you know, this is the 2. Beauden Barrett, Dan Carter, where do they start? How do they play them? That's going to be the big thing that I want to see. And talking about these teams playing, I've noticed with the Chiefs lineup, smart, very smart with what they've done with Aaron Cruden still. And I think if the Blues are smart, they will see that and they will do the same with Dan Carter, because they've got a guy that's experienced. He's a game closer. He knows how to finish it and how to put a game away. And if they're smart, they'll go with Beauden, go with the superstar, put him on there, do what the All Blacks always used to do, switch him around, put him to fullback, and let Carter finish the job. And I think that's where the Blues have to do it. They've got to keep that key man on there when the game really matters. They'll be close. This is going to be close regardless, no matter where you put it. But this Blues team have shown certainly that they are not the getting betters anymore. They are getting up there to be one of the good teams. And I think they will compete for this competition throughout this little short season.
Steve, I think I'm just worried that you said that if the Blues are smart. Now, I mean, those are 2 mutually exclusive things there. I think that's going to be tough. Paul, on to you. What your expectations?
Okay, a lot of us Blues fans prior to the season, everyone was like, okay, the press were like, okay, Beauden Barrett's here. He's going to be the saviour, and we were all like, calm down, folks. You need to have a scrum half that can actually deliver him the ball, and we haven't got that. And then we actually performed well, and we're like, whoa, this is before Dan Carter, this is before Beauden Barrett. We could, So now, I think a lot of us we've had so many bad seasons that it's the hope that kills you. So we refuse to get hopeful at the beginning of the season. But I do think there's a lot of hope now, and a lot of justified hope coming into this tournament. I think there are 4 good teams in this tournament, and one team that's going to get whooped. But we'll get on to them later. I mean, the Dan Carter thing, he's a great signing for bums on seats. He's not going to play for the first 3 weeks at least. Okay, he's not had any contact training for the past 3 months. He's played something like 6 games in the last year and a half. This is not Dan Carter from 2015 that we all remember. Okay, this guy's gone off and has basically had neck surgery and all sorts of stuff. So look, yes, 22 is going to be his jersey when he comes back, but he's not going to come back until about halfway through the season. So they've got to do it before then. Look, they've got a good back line. A lot of the Kiwi side's got good back lines. Let's be honest. It's going to be that battle up front. Can that pack give Sam Nock the kind of platform he needs to release Beauden Barrett? Because with players like Rico Ioane, Joe Marchant in there, you got those Caleb Clark coming back, Mark Talia, Imoni Nawaya. They've got some real strike weapons in that back line if they can release them. But it's going to come down to can that pack give them the platform really?
Judge, you expecting something from the Blues this season, or in betting circles? We always talk about it's that team that you just end up losing cash on. It's just you every year you think they're gonna deliver this game. Surely they're gonna beat the Reds, and then they fluff their Lions or something like that. So, Judge, your thoughts on the Blues, and maybe as well, Paul touched on it there. Just the role that you see Dan Carter playing, this version of Dan Carter.
Yeah, so firstly, Paul, that was a buffalo earlier, so just careful on your beer there, buddy. I know it's evening for you, but you might have to send that. Just a quick one. So with regards to Sam Nock, I'm actually quite happy with him. Listen, he's not the best, but I don't think he's terrible. I think I'd love to have seen the Blues backline maybe with someone else, but I don't think Sam Nock's that far off the pace. I think the big thing is the pack and what sort of platform it sets. And I haven't really done a hell of a lot of work on looking at their forwards at the moment. But there's a bit of an imbalance that's caused where, in my perfect world, I would like to see Dan Carter at 12. And reason being is because I think what Beauden Barrett can work with a little bit at 10. And then also, more importantly, how that will grow Joe Marchant at 13. So, like, I just think that would be great for everyone to watch. I really do. Like, that's what I think. I think in terms of the balance of the backline, it's not going to work. And also with the form of TJ Faiani at the moment, who's come off he's been flipping brilliant. So it's going to be, for him to lose his place to Dan Carter, perhaps is you could almost kind of say, okay, cool, I understand, but for anyone else you can't. So yeah, I think what will happen is either Beauden Barrett or Carter will start at 10, and then the backline will probably be Faiani, Marchant, and then you'll obviously have Ioane and perhaps Talia on the other wings, and then maybe Bodie at 15. So, and I think what they'll do is they'll swing guys around. So either Carter's on the bench and then Beauden Barrett starts at 10. I don't really know. So I think by having Barrett at 10, Carter at 12, Marchant at 13 will cause a bit of an imbalance in the rest of the backs. But I think that would I would really like to see it, because I think that would be the best option. But just for those three positions, not for anyone else or for any of the back lines. So I don't see it happening too often, but it would be nice to see it happen at least once.
What you need to remember, a lot of people don't know about TJ Faiani is the leadership he brings to the team. He's the captain for the Auckland -10 Cup team. I remember listening to a podcast that Rico Ioane was talking about about trying to get refit for this season, and it was TJ that was round to his house, dragging him out and making him train. So TJ Faiani is one of the leaders of this team, which is why I think we'll see him at 12. And I think Rico Ioane has really used his All Blacks kind of power to say, I'm playing 13. It's where he's played all his schoolboy rugby. It's where he's played all his -10 Cup rugby. He's not a winger through age grades. And we did see him playing 13 towards the end, just before the break. So I think he's going to have that 13 jersey and March it's going to be pushed out onto the wing. Is it where I want to see Joe? Not really. I'd like to see Joe at 13 more. But I think we're going to see. I think it'll be the other way around.
Well, that's going to be. I mean, that's going to be really interesting because, yeah, I mean, Marchand probably is definitely suited to playing 13 rather than the wing, and obviously Rico's a All Black winger. So that's. I mean, I suppose the big thing has to be there, and that's usually where you guys are pretty good with the communication from the All Blacks down to your teams is where are the All Blacks going to use him? You know, Rico might want to play 13, but if the All Blacks are going to be using him on the wing, then I'm pretty sure the lads are going to say, listen, this is where you got to slot in. Just my take on the Blues. I mean, obviously they've got all the weapons, but usually for mine, it's almost like their forwards. They've got good forwards, but they just never really roll up their sleeves and do the dirty work. You know, game in and game out. And it's Akira Ioane is almost a great example. He's a fantastic footballer and he's got all the skills, but he's almost like that football forward that's great going forward, but he just never turns back and does his work in defense. And that to me is a little bit of a problem with the Blues. Kind of, it's always a mental aspect where they love it when they've got the ball, but as soon as they have to defend or do hard graft and ugly work, they get a little bit missing, and that's where the skipper has to really man up and say, listen, we got to change this culture. Otherwise, I think it's always going to stay the same for this crop of Blues. I wasn't going to go through every single team, but since we might as well go to the what Paul has clearly said are going to be the bottom dwellers. So let's just quickly handle this one and get it out of the way. Is there, Steve? Let's just hit it straight away. Is there any chance that the Highlanders can scrape a fourth? Just keep themselves off the basement. Do you see any aspects that you can look at that says, listen, they can compete and maybe chip up the Blues or the Hurricanes for that final position and not lose out completely?
You've got to have faith, don't you? You've got to have faith in your team. You've got to have the support. Come on. I mean, there's one big factor that I think a lot of people don't consider when they go into a season like this. So we've already started it. It's happening already. Key players can drop at any second. And going into this weekend's game, we already see, I think the Highlanders have gone from pretty outsiders and closed that gap quite considerably through none of their own doings. The fact is that the Chiefs have lost half their team to the local hospital ward. That is a factor that you just can't predict. You can't write that on paper. You can't prepare for that sort of thing. And I think they've been a bit smarter. I mean, they're going to have to be. This is typical Highlanders, isn't it? This is every single season for the last 5 years since they won it, even when they won the title, even longer than that, 6, 7, 8 years, if not forever for the Highlanders. Start of a new season for the second time, and we're all sitting here going, this Highlanders looks like rubbish. They don't have it in the forwards. They don't have the big-name players. And again, yes, it's true. It's correct. They look like outsiders, but I still think, like we said at the start of the season, not much has changed. They've still got the smarts to direct the team. I think they experimented and tried things too much through the regular season, the start of the normal Super Rugby season, the whole Mitch Hunt at 10 and Ioane at 12. That kind of thing clearly didn't work. And I'm pleased to see that they've actually learned from that and have kind of adapted to what we all expected to happen, to Mitch Hunt come in and play at 15 and they'll kind of pivot on the first receiver position from those sort of areas. The team's good. I think they need to perform, though. That's the thing. They need key guys. Like, I look at this matchup coming with the Chiefs. In an era, I think they can certainly, if they can match up with the Chiefs, they will give them a run for every cent of every dollar, is in the back row. If the Chiefs can dominate in that area, this game is a foregone conclusion. It will be all over, regardless of what anyone else does on this team. If they can match up in that area, if they can match up in the breakdown and keep their own ball, be disruptive and just kind of slow what the Chiefs want to do, because they'll be wanting to get McKenzie on that front foot. They'll be wanting to get him hitting the ball at pace, hitting those spaces, those gaps he likes to do. If they can just keep on par in that sort of area, they have every chance to get into this game. And let's be fair, the type 5, especially that second row of the Chiefs, isn't looking fantastic. It's been pretty hammered, and they are kind of sitting here down here with the Highlanders level. And I'm pretty confident going into this. The Highlanders got every chance in the world of winning this game. It'll be close. I think either way, it's going to really, really be close. But I mean, Ioane's back to 10. The Chiefs pack's in the hospital ward. It's going to be a packed zoo under the roof. It's going to be an epic atmosphere. It's going to be stacked full of people. They're going to be just screaming Highlanders. There's going to be no sport for the Chiefs. Don't worry about that. And that is going to be a 16th man on the field that'll boost them. And you've got a player like Aaron Smith in that team who is kind of like another 16th player, the way he demands and bullies everyone around the field effectively. If he gets his back up, if he gets his heckles going and that crowd start rollicking around, it's going to be a chance. It's going to be an absolute doozy. And the Highlanders, I think, with that crowd behind them, put them in there. Like, I mean, I was looking at the odds in preparation for this, and anything like the Highlanders are sitting plus 8.5. Oh, man, take it all day. 1 to 12, they're playing 450. 450, 1 to 12. Oh, give me that. I'll take it. Thanks.
Okay, I'm loving the confidence. I think we might have to judge if we watch the screens there. Just watch out for Stephen in the zoo. It sounds like that's pretty much where he's gonna be at. Paul, your take there. Do you think Steve's confidence, or at least hopeful enthusiasm, is worth it, or are we gonna see a different side of Cornflake in about 3 weeks' time after three hard weekends?
I look, all these games are going to be hard weekends. Let's be honest. Look, they're all New Zealand derbies. There's no easy games. This one, and you got to say he's made a couple of good points, which is really hard for me to say. But he's right. Look, Mitchell Brown and Tupou Vei are in the engine room for the Chiefs. That's hardly Allardyce and Brodie Retallick. So look, they really are. Yeah, that engine room is going to be is going to be an issue. Also, when you that front row as well, the starting front row is fine, but Bradley Slater and Ryan Coxon coming on, not so great there. So look, he's right. Yeah, the Chiefs managed to somehow get through the first part of the season pretty much injury free, and now are just falling to pieces. And I don't know what's happened, but it's all gone wrong for them. Whereas the flip side was the Highlanders just had no outside backs. And you can see that because they've got 11 outside backs in their squad at the moment, because half of them are injured. They brought 3 new outside backs in for this part of the season, and they actually will have a more balanced back line now, which was totally out of sorts before because they were playing midfielders on the wing, and obviously play Josh Ioane at 12. Personally, I'd rather see Hunt in the 22 jersey and see either Michael Collins or actually really Josh McKay. Josh McKay had a great minor 10 cuts. I'd love to have seen him at 15, but they've gone with a 2 playmaker option. This is the kind of game where you like, Shannon Frizzell, come on. You've had lots of 2 seasons ago. We will look at you going, you're a 50, 60 cap All Black. We need to see him start delivering because he didn't really do that last year. And with players like Dylan Hunt alongside him and Malachi Tui, that's a decent back row if they play. And we just need to see Shannon Frizzell really step up there. Because of those injuries, I think that tight 5 isn't going to be put under too much pressure. I'm not a big fan of Josh Dixon in the as a lot. Parry Parkinson, rate him. But I think a lot of these New Zealand sides have one good lock, and they're scratching around to find the second one. Otherwise, they're going to be competitive in that tight 5 because of those injuries to the Chiefs. Luckily for the Highlanders, Sam Cane isn't playing for the Chiefs. So look, this is actually going to be a much better game than I was giving it credit for, to be honest.
Well, I must say, personally, I'm really, really happy to see Josh Ioane. I mean, he made the All Black cut for a reason as a prospective number 10 there, and he needs to play the full season there and try and settle. And I mean, what better way to do it than playing outside Aaron Smith? I mean, that's a dream job. So hopefully he can settle into that. And on the Mitchan front, I know quite a lot of betting blokes who say that 22 is definitely the lowest number he should be wearing on a rugby pitch there. So, Judge, just your input on the Highlanders.
Yeah, I'm actually quite looking forward to this. I think both teams are kind of winning and losing in a number of places, and I think the big thing for the Highlanders, I agree totally with the home ground. But the big thing for the Highlanders is what they need to do is their discipline on defense, and that's they just need someone to lead them and sort them out to make sure that they're good. Because the minute that Damien McKenzie gets a little bit of free reign, everyone kind of craps himself, and you start overcompensating and there are problems there. So I think for me, the Highlanders, I'm quite excited to see their 12-13. I think Tompkinson and Thompson are pretty good. I really like Rob Thompson. I'm a massive fan. I think he's incredible. So he's going to do really well. But I think for me, where it's won and lost is the two nines, the two halfbacks between Smith and Webber. They're both in top form. They're both hunting the All Black starting jumper. I know, like Webber, I don't know how it took him so long to get there. I think he's flipping incredible. So I think the two of them and how they manage their pack and their backs and sort it out on defense and attack is going to be key for the game.
Well, I tell you, I've backed Brad Webber to score a heck of a lot of tries this season. He's my Chiefs biggest try scorer. So I'm his eye for a gap and that pace is crazy. So I'm hoping he's got a heck of a storm. Listen, I'm not gonna handle all three of the other teams, but let's just in general. Is it the one that was raised here for the Crusaders to just go and dominate the brand new tournament, or is there a chance for the Chiefs or the Hurricanes to upset the apple cart? Judge, maybe just start us off there since you're talking in any case.
Yeah, so it is quite like there's a number of things. I don't think the Crusaders are going to run away with it. I think the Crusaders, it's the way the dynamic has changed. The Crusaders are always such a slow machine to get going, and then when they get going, they got the momentum and they're in the playoffs and they go and they finish off. This whole thing has changed. They've had to redo a preseason. They've had to change up how they're doing. So I think the short concept will help a couple of other guys. I think we're really much in the unknown. Like, it's week one, so we kind of really want to have a look, see what's going on. And the irony of the whole thing is the Crusaders aren't even playing in week one, so we have to kind of wait another week, and they're always going to be playing catch up. So how's that going to affect their psyche? So I think we're in for a good one. To pick someone straight away is a little bit tough at the moment. I think we're all kind of in limbo. We don't really know what's going on, or have they had a proper preseason? Like, everything has changed. So we're in for some fun. I can't pick a winner just yet.
Paul?
Clearly, I mean, the Chiefs pre-lockdown were the big challenges for the Crusaders, but the Blues were also playing well, and the Hurricanes surprised us a lot. I think a lot of us came into this thinking, the Hurricanes don't have the best type 5. They've just lost Bowden Barrett. They're going to struggle, and they had that big loss in the first round, and we were all down on them. But after that, they really turned things around and played some pretty good rugby. So you've got to say, Chiefs should be the main challengers for the Crusaders, but the Blues and Hurricanes can pull this out for me. And those four, it's going to be ding dong all the way to the end, I think.
Steve, apart from the Highlanders pushing them all the way, do you see anyone tripping up the red machine?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be plain sailing for the Crusaders this season. I think there's going to be certainly a few upsets, a few bumps in the roads. It's going to be chopping and changing. Although I'd love to see the Highlanders do well, I do think they're going to be just that banana skin team. The one, yes, we've just defeated the Crusaders, something for someone, and they're going to go down to Dean and just slip up against the Highlanders and undo their own work. They're a team that can do that sort of thing. But yeah, I agree with what Paul said there. The Crusaders certainly are what you'd expect to be the front runners. But we know if the Chiefs can stay injury-free, and that goes for the other teams as well, but already they've started off on the wrong foot. We've seen the Chiefs get really ravaged by injury and seasons go by. The Hurricanes need to find themselves effectively. They've got a shortened season to do that. They've got to obviously find the man who's going to fill that gap for them in the number 10 jumper, and they've got to continue on building back from that as well. All four teams, really. The Blues, I think, are my dark horse if it was going to go anywhere, although it pains me to say that. But they are a team I think we've already seen this year. They could do something special, and especially if Bowden coming into that team, he's just going to add that extra space for those guys that we've already seen being quite impressive. He's going to give them a little bit more because he's going to be a little bit more focused on him. But yeah, Crusaders, certainly the team to watch. They get the good draws though, don't they? We've seen they always get the nice buys. They get them at the right times. They don't get shafted like the Highlanders have in the past, where they get a buy in like round 2, and then they get a bye in round 52 and have nothing in between. So they get the nice runs. They'll be watching this. You'll see all the Crusaders be sitting around their little hot fires, and New Zealand winter here watching all the other teams and just scouting out. And you watch round 2, they'll be out there. I think the whole facade of the Crusaders being slow starters has been pretty dispelled over the last 2-3 seasons. They're a team. They're professional. They're just utter professionals, and they just go out there and, they all pretty much wear a black jersey, so they know what to do. They go in, they hit their straps, and they are going to be hard to stop, but they're going to be pushed, like Paul said.
Yeah, I mean, the slow starts were a Todd Blackadder thing, weren't they? Whereas Razors got rid of that. The other thing also is they get a week. All the other teams are like 3 weeks. They get 4 weeks pre-season. So they get a better pre-season. I actually think having a bye first up is good. They also get to see how are the referees going to referee these new laws. So they're going to come into it with a bit more knowledge. So I actually think that having a break in the first round is actually a strength for them rather than a weakness in that side of things.
No, I must say I saw it that way as well. But come week 3 or week 4, I must say some of the other teams might have the advantage of at least resting those bodies after a heck of a contact. Because I mean that's the big thing about your tournament happening now is that it's such a condensed version. There's no off weeks. I mean, as Steve says, maybe tongue in cheek as well, but the Highlanders are always going to be tough, especially in Dunedin. It's not like it's going to be an easy game, so it's still going to be physical. It's still going to be tough. So there's no, and even the Crusaders. What would be interesting this season is, Robertson was also keen to really rotate his players. So we'd like to see whether that's going to be the same case. In the bigger Super Rugby, he was obviously happy to do it and use his entire squad, and we didn't even know really, who's his frontline outside backs and that kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see what he does in the shorter, condensed version. Is he just going to keep on picking Sivo Reese and the guys and he's in his A team, or is he still going to chop and change a bit? So that's going to be the big thing, and maybe that's what Cornflake said as well. There's squad depth. That's where the Crusaders, I think, is they've got Will Jordan and those kind of guys is probably going to sit out in the first few weeks because they've got that much talent. So a couple of injuries, especially out back, isn't going to hurt them that much. Whilst it's obviously a lot worse, a team like the Chiefs, if they had to use a Cruden or someone, it's going to be harsh. Just quickly for the betting people there, from this conversation, I suppose you'd probably say that the value then is either Hurricanes or Blues. It's a tight trying to fare between the Chiefs and the Crusaders, but there's probably not that much value in the market. What is the final thing? I don't know if you guys have studied the squads and that kind of thing, but are there players that you guys are looking forward to this season? Either Dan Carter returning or a couple of youngsters, people we have to look out for, guys that you look forward to seeing in action that you've missed. Paul, maybe let's start with you. I know you're usually quite good up on these kind of things.
I'm actually here to the Highlanders and talk about Vilimoni Koroi, who was down for the Sevens. He was a try-scoring machine for Otago during the Mitre 10 Cup, so I think he could come in and have a really good season. So he's in the 23 jersey for week 1, so he's someone to look out for out there on the wing. And I guess from a returning thing, you obviously mentioned Dan Carter, but Sam Whitelock back for the Crusaders is going to be a small addition to their locks department. I mean, with Scott Barrett, Mitchell Dunshea, Luke Romano, Quinton Strange. I mean, Sam Whitelock might have to play his way back in, but I mean, what a guy to come back into the squad.
I don't think he has to do quite that much to get back. If he tells me he's ready, he's going. Steve, people you're looking forward to seeing back on the park?
Well, it's easy to look at the Blues and the Hurricanes team, and it's got all the focus on the media. But I'm kind of going to copy Paul always was with the local boys, and I think the up and coming is certainly here with the Highlanders and the Chiefs. I mentioned at the start, the Chiefs, this back row. Although we know about these guys, I think they are pretty much going to be world-class in the future. Luke Jacobson's, Lachlan Boshiers, and I really like watching Peter Gus-Suakula as well. They are amazing, and they are going to win this team's games for years and years from now on. So they are guys I want to watch and will be fearful of when the Highlanders are going up against them. And it's the same on the other back row, though, for the Highlanders as well. Marino Makahili, too, I think is a guy who's looked really impressive after being kind of a nobody building into the season. So he could be a guy certainly worth watching out throughout the season. And I'm a bit with Judge as well. I have real soft spot for Rob Thompson donning that black jersey as well. So he's my kind of guy after James Lowe left me and ditched me to go overseas. So I've transferred from James Lowe to get a black jersey. Now I'm on to Rob Thompson to get the black jersey as well. So, yep, key guys. And it's a great thing about a post-World Cup kind of year, isn't it? You get all these new, fresh talents. We've been a bit cut short, but hey, there's still plenty of time for them to shine.
But I mean, again, with the Blues, number 8. I mean, a lot of people we're thinking Kiri Wine comes back in, but look, you've got to say that Hoskins Sotutu in his first season at Super Rugby has been absolutely fantastic. I mean, he kept Kiri Wine out for Auckland in the Mitre 10 Cup last year, so there's another young guy up and coming who could very easily get with that big question mark around the number 8 jersey for the All Blacks. There's a guy to keep an eye on because, yeah, if he was a year older, had one more season under his belt, he could really be in with that in with a shout for that jersey.
I must say, I'm glad it was mentioned there, old Gus. That is a serious unit, and I must say, I'm a huge fan. I can't wait to see him lumbering around there on his big charging runs. He's superb. And then my big one that I'm looking forward to is old Damien McKenzie. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of him in the last 12 months. So seeing him unleashed, I've actually tipped him to be the top point scorer. I think he's gonna have a fire of a season. So I'm really looking forward to him. Judge, something you're looking forward to?
Yeah, a couple of guys. I got Safa. I want to keep an eye on Cobus van Wyk. I think I'd really like to see how he does.
Oh, we've seen enough of him, man. We've seen enough of him. You don't have to keep an eye on him. We know all about him, man.
Yeah, I think I'm really looking forward to seeing him push it on. I think Joe Marchant. It's kind of bittersweet, you know. I really like him. I remember watching him in the under-20s, and I think what he could learn at the Blues would be incredible. The downside of it is he's going to take that back to England. So the less England get, the better. So maybe the Kiwis can cap him somehow. I'd rather he play for them than England. And then I think Lamape is someone that I'm quite interested in keeping an eye on because a lot of people feel like he was hard done by. We missed out quite a bit, and he was clearly the form 13, the same as Ben Lamb. Like the All Black setup is very interesting. The guys that are performing, and everyone like they'd make like 150 test sides, but they're not making the All Black squad for whatever reason. So I think Lamape, and obviously post World Cup, like he's definitely going to be eyeing that All Black 13 jumper and 12, and you know, just the midfield in general. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he does, but yeah, so it's going to be fun.
Actually, another unknown in the Chiefs one is going to be Caleb Trask, and he's pushed Aaron Cruden down to the bench. So you've got a guy there who's come out of high school, has had 2 seasons. So he's still under 20s, I think. He's had like 2 seasons of Mitre 10 Cup where he got lucky in the fact that the guy he was supposed to be learning off got injured, so he had a lot of game time. Unexpectedly for Hawke's Bay, and suddenly finds himself now starting for the Chiefs, which is and pushing Aaron Cruden down to the bench. I mean, we're talking about a guy here with just 2 seasons under his belt. So yeah, he's got something. So yeah, for somebody that you won't have heard of, Caleb Trask in that 10 jersey for Chiefs.
I think he's in that 10 jersey because Gatlin's smart. He wants Cruden to come on and win this game at the end. I don't think Trask is anywhere near dislodging Cruden, who was probably one of the form 10s in the start of the season around all the New Zealand teams. He is there. He'll be on, I bet you, either the 40th minute when the teams come back out or the 43rd. They won't see past 45 without Cruden, I don't reckon. He's going to be on there and he's going to win the game. There will be damage control for 40 minutes. It'll be just don't let the Highlanders score any points as much as possible. Stay in the game, and then we'll blitz it at the end. Like Cruden, he did that for those few rounds before the season stopped. That's a game plan. That's what I mean. That's smart. I think have that guy on. You don't want to finish with Trask at the end. You want to get him out of the game as soon as possible and have that finisher, the experience. Not being mean to the guy, but he's not going to have that mentality to finish the game. Good young player, sure, but have him on when it's fresh. He can make a mistake. Okay, they scored a try. No big deal. Move on. Don't completely wreck the guy. If he comes on, 79th minute, throws an intercept pass, Highlanders to score, win the game, head's gone. Head's gone. The youngster's out of there. So I think it's just clever coaching, and I'll give them the dues there. I think they've got that bang on.
I must say, I was seriously surprised. I mean, last night for us, I was trying to update the Twitter the whole time, and I didn't see any team news. First thing this morning, woke up, I was like, "Come on, let's see what they've got." And when I first thing, and I saw, I didn't know Caleb Trask from Bar of Soap there. I was super surprised, and I thought, "Geez, what happened? Did couldn't pick up a bug or something because he was still on breakdown early in the week?" And I thought, well, I mean, they wouldn't talk to the guy if he wasn't up and running. And then I saw him on the bench, so I was particularly surprised. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see how Charles goes. Oh, yeah. Listen, by the way, I don't know how you guys on it. Can you ask you how do we pronounce this Aotearoa? Or are you guys screwed up on the pronunciation of this? How are we going to say this?
Paul's got it at pronouncing stuff.
Aotearoa.
Aotearoa.
It's pretty much New Zealand and Māori, as far as I'm aware. Yeah.
Land of the long white cloud, isn't it?
Okay, guys, listen. Let's just last thing to finish off with. Let's maybe just do a quick prediction for the two games. Islanders Chiefs. Let's just go clockwise around, Steve.
I've got to stick with the boys. Highlanders by 2.
Paul.
Chiefs by 7.
Judge.
I'll go Highlanders by 4.
Highlanders. Yeah, you're making up ground on Super Pre there, my man. Listen, Blues, Canes.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the home team on this one too. Blues, as much as it pains me, but by 4 this time. Close one.
Blues by 3.
Oof. I'm going Canes by 7.
Whoa!
Come on, Sean. No Plumchee there, man. No South African influence, and Quibus can't do enough. No, it's trouble. Listen, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. I mean, I think the whole world is jealous of you, especially the rugby union watching world. So go ahead and do the code proud and really enjoy it. And it sounds great. It sounds like the stadiums are gonna be full. So I mean. Yeah, we all looking forward to it. As I said, the South Africans, there's been talk about moving to the Northern Hemisphere, leaving Super Rugby, Tri-Nations, all that. But I can tell you what, we're loving New Zealand rugby right now.
Can't wait.
It's going to be a cracking weekend. Look, we've got 2 good games, and we are going to have 2 full houses. So the atmosphere is going to be good. We've been sick of seeing these quiet stadiums. So yeah, please make some noise if you're going to be there.
Cheers, James. Thanks so much. Have a good one, and thanks for joining us.
Awesome. Thanks.